You got a lot of heavy, big old muscles up in your body. That's a great thing. That's for sure. You got a lot of heavy metals up in your body, your brain, and your blood, and that's not a good thing. Can damage your organs, can even cause death. Things like headaches. And what is going on with heavy metals? You know, why is it in so many foods? What are some foods it's in? What are some foods to avoid? What are some foods we can have to help us eliminate these heavy metals from our bodies? And how do they even test for this in the first place? I think are all reasonable questions here and questions that a lot of people might have. I get a lot of questions about heavy metals. We had to do a video on heavy metals. So firstly, let's say this is not a video intended to treat, diagnose, cure, prevent any disease. Go talk to your doctor. If you got any medical conditions, you think you have heavy metal toxicity, things like nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, headaches, whatever, but you know, go to your doctor. Damn it, is disclaimer, all right? That's out of the way, thankfully. So what are some heavy metals as examples? Well, arsenic, mercury, and lead, they're probably the most commonly spoken of. Also, high levels of metals that could be good for your body. Remember, copious amounts of anything typically is not a good thing. And those are things like zinc or iron, right? Even really high amounts of those are just not good. So again, if you have really high levels of them, they can cause a wide range of negative health effects, things ranging from headaches and organ damage to even death, right? And so what are some common symptoms of heavy metal toxicity? As aforementioned, things like headaches, diarrhea, and there are a lot of different types of symptoms. You can get nausea and vomiting and all stuff like that, right? So it's not to say that if you have those, you have heavy metal toxicity. Obviously, it could be a totally different thing going on, have nothing to do with heavy metals, but those are some common symptoms that people have, right? How do they test for it? Urinalysis. They have you pee in a little cup, and they test the urine, and the urine test will show how many heavy metals are in your body, and your doctor will decide what to do from there, right? And so what are some foods that are good for helping to eliminate heavy metals from the body? Well, before we even talk about those, know that if you're deficient in certain vitamins, like vitamin C or the B vitamins, namely, your body may have a poorer tolerance for heavy metals in general, and that could increase your risk for developing heavy metal toxicity. So it's important to make sure you're getting those from whole food, from nature, and if you're not, supplement with them. But there are a lot of foods, you should be getting them from food. As we always say, food first and foremost before supplements, right? Can't drive that home enough. So what are some good foods? We'll talk about examples of foods that have those in them at the end. But what are some examples of foods that help to eliminate heavy metals from the body? Well, these foods have what are called chelators, and chelators bind to heavy metals and they help expel them from the body and negate the adverse effects they can have on health, right? At least to some degree. We have blueberries, probiotics, garlic, green tea, lemon water, spirulina, chlorella. We have curry. We have cilantro. We have tomatoes, right? All those are some really good foods that at least made the cut here for me as one of our top foods here on the list for being chelators that combine to heavy metals and expel them from the body. Rewatch the video if you want to see that list. Maybe I'll post them in the description of this video. What are some foods we want to avoid when it comes to heavy metal toxicity? Well, we all know large fish, typically large fish that live a long time. You know, things that can be really high in mercury, for example. These are swordfish, tilefish, tuna. Unless it's canned tuna, that's a little bit better. But you know, those we all know. Inorganic foods in general. Alcohol is another one, and an interesting one is brown rice. Brown rice can be manufactured and contain a high level of arsenic sometimes, and so you want to make sure you're getting your brown rice from a good source. Brown rice. Get organic, get like Nature's Promise, whatever. I don't advocate any brands really here, but you know, because it's about what's in the product more than the brand itself. But go with someone trustworthy. Look up on their site, see how they manufacture things, and you know, maybe call them and see. Just ask them, like, is there a risk of arsenic being in your brown rice? You know, before you get it, don't go for some cheap bullshit that's just no good potentially, right? So if you avoided inorganic foods in the first place, you're at a lower risk for having brown rice that has arsenic in itself, right? So luck is where preparation meets opportunity, as I love to say all the time here at When Lost. Do good things are more likely to happen, and conversely do bad things, and bad things are more likely to happen. So what are some foods, before we get lost on that topic, we can talk about that for a year, that are high in vitamin C and B vitamins. Well, it comes to vitamin C, we all know oranges, we know citrus fruits, we know yellow and orange fruits, and they're high in zeaxanthin as well, powerful antioxidant. Antioxidants are good for binding to these heavy metals, helping to eliminate from the body again, as well, helping to reduce their harmful effects on health. And some of the aforementioned foods have antioxidants. Blueberries have anthocyanins and pterostilbene. Tomatoes have lycopene. Garlic has allicin, right? And so all these different forms of antioxidants, they're great. You find them in colorful fruits and vegetables for the most part, right? Now, when it comes to some other foods rich in vitamin C, red bell pepper has a ton. Kiwi has a lot. I believe guava has a lot, but don't quote me on that. It might be one of the highest. You could look that up. But a lot of foods are rich in vitamin C, right? Strawberries, 7 strawberries has the same amount of vitamin C as an entire orange. Fun fact, right? Lemon, right? It's a decent amount. And so the peel has a lot, though. Don't forget, it's got like 5 to 10 times the amount as the whole lemon. So put that in your smoothie. Take that home with you, baby, and you get some fiber too while you're getting all that stuff, right? So when it comes to foods that are rich in B vitamins, there are a lot of them. And so it's really typically unnecessary to supplement with B vitamins. As we always say here at One Wellness, supplementing with B vitamins is typically unnecessary. Supplementing with daily multivitamins is typically unnecessary if you get all of your nutrients from whole food from nature. And if you don't eat well, though, then maybe a multivitamin will help you. Then maybe supplement with B vitamins will help you. Vitamin C and all these things. And if you're, trying to boost your immune function, you get a little bit more vitamin C as a supplement. Vitamin D you get from the sun. That's totally different. You may want to supplement with that. It's a very common deficiency. I believe 93.4% of Americans have deficiencies in vitamin D. And as you get older, you're more likely to be deficient. And if you have darker skin, you're more likely to be deficient because it takes more sunlight to produce the same amount of vitamin D, right? But get it all from food. What are some foods that have those B vitamins that could help to reduce our risk for developing heavy metal toxicity in the first place? Well, we have leafy greens, we have nuts and seeds, we have pasture-raised eggs, right? And the yolk contains a good bit of B vitamins, not to mention all the fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K, choline, some vitamin D. It's great stuff, right? Fatty fish, like salmon, mackerel, tuna, herring, sardines, anchovies, trout, lean meats that have no antibiotics or hormones, good quality meat, not processed meat, good quality meat. We're talking things like chicken, turkey, pork, all that kind of stuff, right? So a lot of things have B vitamins, and now you guys know what you can do to help reduce your risk of developing heavy metal toxicity. It is such a commonly spoken of topic. I can't believe it took us this long to do a video on it. The list is so long of topics that we have to talk about here at One Wellness. And so, if you asked us about it a while ago and we didn't talk about it until now, I'm sorry, but here you go. I hope this was helpful for you, right? And that's why we do One Wellness every day, because we got so much to talk about. We got to be here every single day. I mean, if I didn't have another job, I would probably do multiple One Wellness videos every day because I love doing it in the first place, but also because it's great to share this information with you guys that can help to improve your health and your lives. And that's what One Wellness is all about, and that's my purpose here on this earth. So let's see what we got on here. Elderberries too. Yeah, there are other foods. I'm just listing some, some good ones. But absolutely. Yes. Would you say preen? Okay. It's Joey. What's up? Sabrina. Oh, appreciate that. Yeah, I know it's crazy expensive here. It's nuts. Yeah. You're in Manhattan especially, girl. You're getting hammered with that. Yeah, let's talk. We'll do a training session. I'm in St. James. I'm a little far, but like an hour. Rathenob. It's a train ride away. Ma, I love you. I'll see you later. Tommy Reed, what's up? You need a good stretch. All right. Come on down. This is my office is in Stony Brook, but I live in St. James. Sabina, thank you very much. Repping the One Wellness gear up in here. Haley, how you doing, baby? Pepe, Daniel Herrera, Joe. Ash, what's up, girl? Good to see you for the second time in about 10 minutes. Thanks. Jadwick, and thanks for always letting me know I'm on the wrong channel if I do this on Tarzan Man, which I just did. Second time doing this. Cheyenne, you're great. Thanks for the support, and thanks for the extra information, useful information. Nello, what's up, brother? How you doing, baby? OG. And Gissy, thanks for coming on. All right, as for now. So we got for you, folks. We'll see you tomorrow, baby. Not sure where, not sure when, but we'll see you then. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much, and happy When Wellness. Enjoy this beautiful, beautiful day. What up, Slim? Good to see you again. See you later. You already heard this one anyway.